Welcome to my August and September reading wrap up. Alright, y'all, I'm wearing PJs. Never wear PJs, it just makes me feel like I have my life together. I have a cozy blanket. I just finished a warm bath. It's cool and crisp out, and I feel like I'm thriving. I'm also surrounded by books, which is just, it's how I want to be. There's literally 4 piles of books around me right now. I'm living, but let's not chit chat too much. I think this wrap up is going to be a little bit different than usual because I'm a little bit behind. I'm combining August and September's books, and I've been on a roll, let me tell you. So I'm just going to do like 1 or 2 sentences per book and keep it pushing. Okay, we'll start with August because chronological order just makes sense. In August, I read 18 books. Autobiography by Christina Lauren is about a dude named Tanner who moves to Utah, and he's kind of struggling with his sexuality. I honestly thought this was way out of Christina Lauren's like usual. I was really surprised by it, and not in a good way. So I gave this 2 stars. The Book Eaters by Sunyi Dean is about people who eat books. And if you're really hardcore, sometimes brains. And that's how you get knowledge. I was really excited for this book and very underwhelmed by it. I also gave this 2 stars. I'm really sad. I was really looking forward to this. But it is pretty though. The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst is about a girl who, I think the library catches on fire and she flees to an island. I could be confusing this with another cozy fantasy. Anyways, I do remember that there's a sentient plant with her who's her bestie, and there is a slight romance, and she opens a jam shop, but it's actually a front. She's not just selling jam, she's selling spells, which are illegal, and she is doing illegal things. I don't know what I was gonna say there. Anyways, I give this 3 stars. I didn't hate it, but I also didn't like it. I think it's just that this genre, like the cozy fantasies, are just not for me. The Rulebook by Sarah Adams is honestly a great time. I think I gave this 4 stars, and I'm gonna have to read some more Sarah Adams. This one is about a football player and a agent. Yeah, so this agent gets her big break and is a football player, but he's her ex. So now she's got to navigate that situation, and it's a romance, so we know what happens, right? Then I read A Touch of Chaos by Scarlett St. Clair. I ordered all 4 books in this series in special edition, and so I wanted to read it so that my TBR doesn't grow because I'm really trying so hard not to have a long TBR, and that is the reason that I don't have the physical book. However, I love this series. A Touch of Darkness is the first one if you're interested in reading it. It's a Hades and Persephone retelling. I won't say what this one is about because it kind of gives things away. However, this was my least favorite. I just was not invested in it. I can't tell you why, so I gave it 2 stars. Crown of Midnight by Sarah J. Maas. I feel like I don't have to say what Crown of Midnight is about. This is part of the Throne of Glass series. What I will say is that I was not having a good time, but then I read this one and I was having a good time. So now I have high hopes for this series, and I'm hoping that in the next one I will understand why people say that Throne of Glass is better than A Court of Thorns and Roses, because I'm obsessed with ACOTAR. So how could there be something better? The Wedding People by Alison Espache. I can't tell you why I bought this book because I had no interest whatsoever in reading it. yeah, I really don't know why I chose it. Anyways, it's about a girl who goes to a hotel to unalive herself. And while she's there, she realizes that she's the only person at this hotel who's not part of this wedding. And then she starts hanging out with the wedding people at the wedding. It's funny, it's sentimental, it makes you feel good, it makes you feel sad. I'm obsessed. I loved it. I gave it 4 stars. Then I read A Witch's Guide to Fake Dating a Demon. I just was curious. I think people are going around saying that this is funny, but then again, I think I might be confusing it with those books where it's like that time I got drunk and yeeted a love potion at a vampire or something like that. I don't know. I didn't enjoy it. I gave it 2 stars. I didn't think it was funny, and I didn't really get the hype. It's about a witch fake dating a demon. They weren't even like really fake dating. Okay, I'm not going into a rant. Sleep Like Death by Kaylin Bayron is about, well, it's just basically a Snow White retelling. That's as much as I will say. This is the woman that wrote Cinderella is Dead, so it's funny that the back says Cinderella is dead, but Snow White fights on. This was okay. I gave it 3 stars, but honestly, I feel like it's more like a high 2. Interesting premise, and it was like good, like intriguing to start off with, but like the execution of it, kind of disappointed. The Coven by Harper L. Woods is honestly, I can't tell you what this is about. I immediately deleted it from my brain. I bought it because it had cute sprayed edges, and that's really it. I had also pre-ordered the second book and immediately canceled it when I read this because I was cringing. So bad. It's just that this is like one of those dark romances, and spice in books can get really cringe for me really fast, and that's what this did. I read Practicing the Way by John Mark Comer. I've been reading a lot more like Christian books, just, you know, trying to be a better person, and John Mark Comer never fails. I mean, this is a nonfiction book, but I did give it 4 stars because I love everything he writes. It makes me want to be a better person, and he gives a lot of good advice. So then I think I read this other book called Sex, Jesus, and the Conversations the Church Forgot, which I thought was gonna be, you know, a little spicy, a little controversial, but actually was kind of boring. I think I gave it like 2 stars. I didn't learn anything from it, which is sad. Next, New Moon, which I think is book 3. No, it's book 2 in the Twilight series. I'm slowly making my way through it, and when I'm done reading them all, I will reward myself with the box set. Okay, I'm not gonna be that girl anymore who buys the entire series before reading the first book, but I do want the box set, and it is on sale tomorrow on the Prime deals, so maybe I'll continue to be that girl who reads all the box sets. Anyways, I gave this 3 stars. I thought it was good, better than the movies. I will continue to enjoy the Twilight series. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone is about a boy named Harry who finds out he's a wizard. We all know that, right? I had no intention of reading these books, but then my friend gave it to me for my birthday, and I gave it 5 stars because I'm obsessed. This is so much better than the movies. I mean, the movies are really good too. Like, I was a Potterhead just from the movies, but reading this as an adult for the first time, I don't understand why as a child I read this and was like, ugh, and DNF'd it. After making my mom buy the whole box set. You see? It's just a waste of her money. All right. The Love of My Afterlife by, oh, a bookmark. The Love of My Afterlife by Christy Green. I thought this was funny. It was cute. It was interesting. It was very different. I gave it 4 stars. I bought this because I was at a reading party in Hudson Yards, somewhere in the city. I went to a reading party and I was reading a book by this publisher. They interviewed me and they said, based on what I spoke about, they recommended this book, and they were right. Sublime by Christina Lauren. Honestly, I can't remember what this book was about. I know it was kind of dark, and okay, based on reading the back, I think it's a guy who falls in love with a ghost. Very out of their usual wheelhouse. I gave it 3 stars. It was fine. It was little like ominous vibes, but nothing like that stood out. Then I read The Perfect Marriage by Geneva Rose. I give it 4 stars. I thought this thriller was so good. And now I'm blanking what it's even about. I don't know. I just remember the vibes. It was good. Read it. I also read that book because I pre-ordered a special edition with sprayed edges that was like, it's gonna look so nice on my shelves. And I needed to read it so my TBR doesn't go up. And now I feel like I'm cheating the whole getting my TBR to 0 thing by reading books and then buying them. It's my game. I make the rules. Girl math and book math. You see, it makes sense in 2 different maths. Last book I read in August is The Soulmate Equation by Christina Lauren. As you can see, I was still on my Christina Lauren kick where I was trying to read all the books in their backlist. I'm so close, yet so far away. I think I have maybe 4 books left. And then I've read every single book written by them, which is a million, thousand, gajillion of them. The Soulmate Equation is about this scientist dude who creates this science that can match you with your perfect match. I gave this book 4 stars. I'm kind of sad though because a couple months ago, or maybe 2 months ago, I read The True Love Experiment, and I realized as I was reading this one that this one comes first before this one. So some things were not making sense for me because they had already happened in this book. It's okay. Look how pretty my August cover is. So pretty. And also, I'm sorry, but I ate with September. I'm a truther. Tell me I'm not. All right, halfway through. I'm gonna go backwards from the last book I read to the first one in September, solely for the reason that I am too lazy to take the books out from the bottom of the pile. In September, I read 15 books, and I'm really surprised by that. That's the least amount I've read in a while. Anyways, The Husbands by Holly Gramazio. I gave this book 4 stars. I thought it was funny. Also a book that I bought and I wasn't interested in reading, but I did. Anyways, this girl finds out that she can send her husband up into the attic, and when he comes down, it's a different husband, you know? So she just gets to try out different husbands and see which ones she likes. And it was funny. It made me laugh. It was a vibe. The Push by Ashley Audrain. I gave this 3 stars. It's about a woman and she kind of just doesn't connect with her daughter when she gives birth. It's kind of spooky, scary. It's a very short and quick read. It was interesting, but for some reason, as I was reading it, I was getting the feeling that I had read this already. And I definitely hadn't read it already. Definitely have had this on my TBR for a while. So I don't know why I had that feeling so strongly. But anyways, that made me enjoy it less because I don't know. I'm not the type of person that can really reread a book and love it the second time as much as the first time. Even though I never read this before. But I had deja vu. Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Doesn't make any sense because I'm going backwards. But this is book 3 out of the Harry Potter series. I gave this one 4 stars. Thus far, of the 3 I've read, this is the one I enjoyed the least. But I love the lore and like the fantasy and the magic system in these books so much. It's just that there was one part with like the Turner and stuff that just felt really repetitive. I was trying to figure out how I wanted to say that without ruining it for people who haven't watched the movies or read the books. But there's a thing with Hermione, okay? And it makes things pretty repetitive, and that's why I bumped it down a star. The Stranger Upstairs by Lisa M. Matlin is about this woman who is trying to be an influencer, and so she buys a mansion where an unaliver lived and unalived people, and it doesn't go well for her. And I gave this 2 stars solely for the purpose that the main character was insufferable, and I really had to push myself to finish this book. The Last Housewife by Ashley Winstead. This book is about a girl, Shay, who basically gets into some weird stuff with her friends in college, and then it comes back to bite her in the behind, and she starts to investigate one of her friends who unalived herself. So basically she's listening to this podcast, and the guy says that one of her friends unalived herself, but he doesn't think she did it to herself. He thinks someone did it to her. And then she's like, I'm gonna pair up with this podcaster and I'm gonna get down to the bottom of this. I think because I was anticipating this book so much and I've been thinking about it for so long, wanted to read it so badly, it didn't live up to the expectations I had here in my noggin, and that's why it wasn't as good, but it was still good, so I give 4 stars. Unmasked by Rita Cabezas. I honestly read this book because my mom gave it to me, and it was poorly written. There was a lot of grammatical mistakes, and I didn't learn anything, so. I read Shatter Me by Tahiri. I can't even see the name in this picture that I printed. It was not what I was expecting, and I don't know what I was expecting because I never read the synopsis of this book. I just, once again, bought a special edition that's coming next month and didn't want it to add to my physical TBR. So I read it on my Kindle. I got it from the library and I read the ebook and actually enjoyed it. I think I gave it like 3.5 stars. I don't know that I would be able to read like the large number of books that are in this series. I wish that there was more of like the asylum part of the book, which was like the very, very, very beginning, because that was the best part, but that's okay. Yellow Face by R.F. Kuang is about a girl, a friend, and she watches her friend Athena choke and pass away, and she sees that Athena had a manuscript, and she thinks, why not publish this under my own name and steal Athena's work? And this was a really good time. I was not expecting to like it as much as I did. I literally just read it, one, because this book is very yellow and very pretty with the sprayed edges. That is one very easy way to get me. I like books with pretty covers. But 2, because R.F. Kuang is a really popular author and I wanted to see what the hype was about. And I'm so glad I started with this one because it's so good. And now I'm thinking, even though Babel scares me, that I might need to give it a try. And if that one's good, The Puppy Wars. Hello. One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig is about Elspeth, who basically has this magic power that she calls the Nightmare, and I don't know how to describe what this book is about. Elspeth basically is in the woods and she runs into a guy and kind of joins him on a journey to save the forest from like some dark magic, but then he turns out to be like this treasonous like family member of the king, and it's all about the magic system, which is like really, really cool in this book, really interesting. I also really liked Elspeth's relationship with the Nightmare, which I won't tell you what that is because you should find out for yourself. May Fly by CJ Lead. I read because Katie Coulson said I should. It is about a girl named Maeve Fly. In fact, she works at Disney and she's into some strange stuff. Yeah, basically she runs into her best friend's brother who just moved into town, and he awakens the American Psycho in her. The Honey Don't List by Christina Lauren. Once again on the Christina Lauren kick. I just remember that this book should have probably been called The Honey Do List, and that wasn't really like a main theme of the book, so I don't understand why they chose that name other than like to be cutesy. So that was a little bit annoying, but I think I gave this 3.5 stars. I still thought it was pretty cute as a love story and pretty interesting, and they like tied in this like mysterious aspect of like something else is going on, like right from the beginning, like some weird like crime happened, and then we're kind of going through the story trying to figure out like what actually happened while they fall in love. Once again, going in backwards order, I read Eclipse. I gave it 3 stars. This is the second book in the Twilight series. It's about vampires. Edward Cullen, Bella Swan. I don't really have many thoughts. It was fine. You Are a Bad... That word. By Jen Sincero. Can you say that on the internet? I don't know, Charlie. Anyways, this book is about being happy and embracing who you are, and it's a mental health book that says the same mental health stuff that everyone else tells you, except it was written in a much more funny way, which the first time I read this a couple years ago really inspired me, which is why when I saw this super awesome like ultimate collector's edition with an exclusive new chapter, I wanted to buy it and read it again, but I didn't feel as inspired this time, and that's okay. I gave it 3 stars. 3.5 for nostalgic purposes. Backwards order, I read Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets by J.K. Rowling. I gave this 5 stars. I enjoyed it very much. Obsidian by Jennifer L. Armentrout. Once again, a book that got me with the sprayed edges. It was just pretty, and I said, let me buy it without reading the description. It is, in fact, an alien romance. I will say, even though I thought it was going to be a little cringe, and some of like the language and like the little sayings from the character had me literally wanting to like, ugh. For the most part, it wasn't cringe, and I actually kind of enjoyed it, but I don't think I enjoyed it enough to read the next book in the series. Even though I will say I was kind of happy with the way that the romance developed in this book, because it wasn't as rushed as they normally are. So, 3 stars. And that's it, y'all. I'm gonna run out of saliva, so I have nothing else to say, because I read a lot of books. Leave me a long string of numbers, emojis in the comments. If you enjoyed this, hit that like button. If you want to join the family, hit that subscribe button. I will see you all when I see you next. Bye.